Hey everyone, this is Aaron Runt. Today what we're going to do is we're going to go over a tutorial with FeatureCam, just kind of a very basics tutorial to get you more familiar with the software. So in this tutorial I'm going to go over how to open, stock, do the machine prep, create some features, simulate, revise, and post some NC code. So first thing I've done is I've opened up my FeatureCam software. I am in the milling. I've gone down to the inch measure unit of measurement. I'm using the wizard for the stock dialog. On the machine configuration, I'm going with my configuration. You see there's only two of them. And I'm going to create a new document. So I have done this tutorial once, so you're going to see a lot of mine auto-populate to the right values. So for the first one, we're going to go 8 inches by 8 inches by 2 inches, and we're going to hit next. We're going to make this aluminum. That does pop up. Now there is a long list of all these materials, and if you wanted to, you can make your own. So we'll start off with aluminum, and I'm going to hit next again. And we're just doing 3-axis, so there's no need for 4th axis or 5th axis positioning, and I'll hit finish. Now there's a dialog box so you can kind of see what all you have adjusted. There's my material, the sizes, stocks, and stuff like that. So you can check all this out if you need to. So I'm going to go OK. And the first thing I want to do is I want to play with my coordinate system. So if I go to Setup and I hit right click, Properties, I want to move the 0 of my coordinate system. Now I can align it to the stock of my face, some geometry. There's a lot of options here, and we're going to go through those as we progress through these tutorials. So right now I'm in the lower left. I'm going to bump it up to the upper left, and I'm simply going to hit apply. I will click OK, and at this point in time I am ready to start getting my grid system activated and start adding some of those features. So in order to get my grid system going, I'm going to come up to Construct. I'm going to go to Mode. So right now I have this grid points right here, so nothing is selected right now. As soon as I click on it, you'll see all these dots pop up right here. Now I can change these from dots to lines, and I can adjust all those settings, and I can do it like this. Yeah, like that. But I'm going to go ahead and keep mine as dots, and I have my spacing at 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch. So I'm going to hit OK. So when you first start, you're going to come down here to the bottom, and you have some information down here. So if I click on the word basic, this is my tool crib. So this is a built-in tool crib that comes with the FeatureCam software. There's a Swiss, there's your tools if you want to make some, and then there's basic. Well, I'm going to make sure basic stays selected. And the next thing I want to do is, if you'll notice, there was a downloadable file attached to this assignment or in the description, and it says Fanuc 3-axis mill default. So if I click on there, now this came with the software. Now that's a long file path to get where I'm at right now. So if it's already like this, you can keep it like that. I'm going to hit OK, but if you are downloading the file, you would simply drag it and drop it into this window right here. So I'm going to do that right here. I'm off the screen. I'm going to drag it. I've got a hold of it, and I'm going to let go of it. When I let go of it, watch this name right here. See if it actually shows that right there. When I let go of it in here, see how it changed my name? And after so many downloads, it has changed its name. So not sure why it does that, but don't be thrown off. That is correct. Now that we have that set up, we're going to go through and we're going to make some geometry. This is not super critical. This is getting you familiar with everything that we're doing. So I'm going to come up here to Construct, and I'm going to go up to here to this circle to Radius. I left click on it, and it is now active. Now if you look down here, it gives me some information right here. Now if I want to get out of this mode, I can simply hit Escape, and everything goes away. So if I left click on it again, and I bring my cursor into the window, you can see that it's trying to drop some stuff in there. So I do want to leave it at a 1/2 inch radius. I'm going to try to come, so this is 8 inches from here to there. So I'm going to kind of split the difference. And if you look down here at the very bottom where it says grid points, I've got some values here. So if I'm right at 0, 0, you'll notice that it says 0, 0 at the bottom. So I'm going to go 4 inches over, and then I'm going to go, oh, let's say 4 inches down. Let's see if that looks good. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. So let's go 2 inches down. So I'm going to click right there at 2 inches. And then I'm going to drop 2 more of them. And I'm going to kind of do the same thing. I'll come in from 8 inches. Let's go up 1 inch. So let's see, 6 inches. And I'll go in, let's say 2 inches, right? But I'm going to intentionally mess this one up. So you'll see that it says 2 1/4. And I meant to drop it right there. Well, I'm going to leave it alone because I'm going to show you something cool here in a second. I'm going to go over here. Now I know that is 2 inches. And I'm going to drop it right here at 6 inches and 6 inches. Okay? So that means I'm about 2 extra, and then I'm 2 up right there. So I'm going to hit escape. And, well, I want this to be right. So I want that to be 2 inches, so I can backspace and I can hit modify. And then I wanted this to be up some. So I'm going to take that and make it 6 inches. I'm going to hit modify. And just like that, and I'll left click off of it, I've got these moved around. Now this triangle is probably going to be a lot bigger than what we're going with when our hole patterns come in there. And if it is, we can adjust it from there. So the next thing I want to do is I want to make this a triangle pocket using the line function right here. Now if I hit the drop down, I have a lot of different offsets I can do. Just like on circle, I have different options. So on line, I'm going to keep it on 2 points. When I select it, it activates. But if I just click, it's just going to make a line wherever. So I don't want that. So I'm going to hit escape. And I'm going to go into modes. And I'm going to turn on tangent to object, because that's what I want to do. I want to select this circle, and I want to attach it to the tangency of that one. So I'll click that to select it, and I will click OK. I will click on line, I will select the circle, and if you notice, as I get close, it snaps to it. It's called snap mode. Imagine that. I left click it again, and there's my line. And then I'm still in my 2-point mode, so I select that circle, come to there. I select that circle, it could be anywhere on the circle. The line's going to come around with it. And then I go up to there, but if you'll notice, oh no, I am on the wrong side of it. So if you'll notice, as I bring my cursor back to it, it repositions it. And if you can't get it to work right, simply hit escape and try again. So I'm going to click that one, and then I'm going to hit escape because it is a closed pocket. Now, in order to make a feature, I'm going to have to make it a curve. So I'm going to come up here to chaining, and I'm just going to go to close curve. Now I can pick pieces, or I can hit close curve, and what it does is as soon as I click on this line, it travels all the way around and it grabs it. And then down here, I'm going to name it something. I want to make it a 1/2 inch deep. So I'm going to name it a 1/2 inch deep pocket. You can name it whatever you want. And then I can hit create, or I can hit enter. Either way works. You can see it goes blue. Now I don't want to select another curve, so I'm going to hit escape. But if you come up here, I have that curve right there, which is really cool. Now I'm going to keep it selected. I'm going to go up to home. Now you don't have to keep it selected, and I'm going to hit features. Now right here, you've got a lot of options of stuff we can make. Now I said I wanted to make it a pocket from a curve. So pocket, next, there's my deep pocket, and then I'm going to hit next. Now if that had not been chained, okay, if I had not made it a curve yet, I could go to curve chaining, select it, and it would work the same way, which is really cool. So I'm going to hit next, okay, no chamfer. We're going to come back to this here in a second because we're going to revise our feature. It is set up to the right depth. Again, I have done this tutorial once, so a lot of these items are going to be defaulted in there. Be sure and change them if they are not. I'll hit next again. Now, there's a lot of information right here, okay? There's some cutter links. We'll go through it once, but eventually we'll start hitting finish if I just want to go through the tutorial and get an idea of what I'm doing. So I'm going to hit next, again. Now when you come up to tools, there's a lot of cool information right here. This is the default tool that it grabbed from the basic tool crib. Well, I'm going to go search for another tool, and I can pick whatever I want. See, this is a regular. That's regular wide, regular tall. There's lots of stuff, and it's all up here, right? Now this is in a tool group with flat bottom end mills. I could use a ball nose end mill. I could use all kinds of stuff. A bull nose end mill, which means it's not a ball nose. It has a small radius on the end. But I'm going to stick with flat, and I'm going to change it to a regular. I'm going to change it to a 3/4 inch high with the plus sign next to it. But I'm going to double click on it too. Now notice I can change some things here. So the cutter length is 3 inches. I'm going to make that 2.75, and when I hit apply, if you watch the darker gray area, it shrunk a little bit. Now let's say I make it way too long. Okay, let's say I make the cutter length 4 inches and I hit apply. Well, now my cutter is all the way up into the holder of the tool, or the tool holder. So right here, exposed length, I'm going to make it 4.5, hit apply, and you can see it does fix that. So if my part is being cut with this tool, and let's say my simulation stops and then it starts throwing up some hot pink colors, and we're going to see that later. That means the light gray area, the shank of the tool, is hitting my part. Okay, so I would have to come in here and either identify or select another tool or modify this tool right here. So I'm going to hit OK, and you'll notice it put a little check mark next to it because that's the tool I'm using. And if I want to create a whole nother tool altogether, I can do that too. So I'll hit next. There's some feeds and speeds here. You can use whatever feeds and speeds you want to use. And then it's got the flood coolant, so M08. And I'll hit next again. It's looking for a finish tool. I'm just going to go ahead and let it select the default settings for me. And there it is. It's all done. It has the roughing end mill, tells me what it is, feeds and speeds. So I'll hit finish. And here's a bunch of information with the strategies, the location, everything we just described is all right there. But I want to see if it's right. So I'm going to click OK. I'm going to right click, go to isometric mode. I'm going to run it in what I call wireframe mode, okay, or centerline mode. So this creates a wireframe diagram of my simulation. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to slow it down a little bit, and then I'm going to simply hit play. So I'll hit play, and you'll see it kind of ramps down, and we can zoom in on this really close and zoom out. And that's just scrolling the mouse up and down. So there's my pocket. It's all done. Wireframe doesn't show me a whole lot, but if I have a really involved setup with a lot of 3D surfacing, this will run my toolpath really quickly. Now, if you'll notice, before I hit start, this was gray. So now it went to a full solid color. And if you'll look, there is my Fanuc post that I put right here. It says what the machine is. It has everything set up and machine time. And there's the toolpath for this entire pocket. Okay, that's really cool. Now I've got details, talks about, you know, what the tool is, what the pocket is, and then I have operations list. Now this little arrow, if you have a very long process, that arrow is going to follow the process down. So if you have a crash, this arrow will be right next to whatever feature is giving you issues. And then you can come over here to your ladder and identify what's going on the features. Okay, so I'm going to hit eject. I'm going to change my simulation to 3D, and I'm simply going to hit play again. Now notice now it gives me a 3D simulation. You can see how long that tool was. Those are all the edits that we made to it. And that looks really good. Now, if you want to start moving stuff around, you can right click and you have all these different functions right here. My favorite is pan, so I can left click and hold and move it. But if I hold down control, and then hold down the middle mouse. See how it's now in rotation mode. So the scroll, that's your middle mouse. I like that a lot. But you can always right click and go to top, isometric, or you can come over to here and you can simply click it, click isometric, whichever way you're most comfortable with, okay? So I'm going to hit eject, and now we're going to make some holes. So what's really cool is I'm going to go into features again. I'm in the home tab. I'm going to make some features. We're going to do hole. I'm going to make a pattern with it. So make a pattern from the feature, and I'm going to hit next. I want it to be 1 inch deep. I want to do a 1/4 inch diameter, and then I'm going to hit next. Now I'm going to do a rectangular pattern, and I'm going to hit next again. Now I don't want 3, I just want to do 2 rows. So I'm going to change that to 2, and anytime I change something, I like to hit preview. That way I can see kind of where I'm at. Okay, so on my spacing, I'm going to type in 5 inches on both spacings. I'm going to hit preview. So I'm going to zoom out because you can see it kind of went up here. Now if my coordinate system was in the bottom left, it would have looked a little bit different, but still similar. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave these here, and I'm going to come down here and hit next. Now this is really cool. Now we can move them in X. I want to go 1 inch, 500 thousandths. I'm going to hit preview. Now that is the distance I want to go. Now I was going to move it 1.5 inches up if my coordinate system was right there. But we're going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to see if you like this. We're going to type in what the overall length of the part is, which is 8 inches, but I'm going to type in a negative 8 inches plus 1 inch, 500 thousandths, and I'm going to hit preview. So it did the math for me, which is really cool. So now I can hit next, and I can simply hit next again, and it comes with a giant center drill. So I'm going to go through here and hit next again. Now I don't have a number 5 center drill, but that's okay. I'm going to search for another tool, and it put me in the spot drills and countersinks right here. So spot drills and center drills. I do have a number 3, and I'm going to select it and hit next. I'll keep those the same. I do have a drill. It is a 1/4 inch. I'll keep all that the same. And then I'll simply hit finish. And all right here, if I have to change anything, I could. So I'll hit OK. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go right click, isometric. I'm still in the simulation mode, so I'm simply going to hit play again. And it will run the pocket first, and then it will run the pattern second. Now this is really cool. I'm going to show you something else. You can see that those are my holes. I'm going to hit eject. Now let's say I wanted to run the holes first, just because that's what I wanted to do. I'm going to click and hold, and you see that little line? I'm going to let go. Just like that, I hit eject, I hit play. Now it's doing my holes first. So it really depends on what you need it to do, but that was really stinking easy. So we're going to roll with that. So I'm going to hit eject, and now we're going to make a couple changes here. So I'm going to go back to my top view. So we've ran the part, we had some NC code. You'll notice I have the holes, this drill in the pocket, so on and so forth. Okay, so I'm going to make some minor adjustments. We're going to do some revision here. So I'm going to go up to my hole, and I'm going to double click on it, and it brings me up to the plain hole. I'm going to change this to a tapped hole. Now it comes up with custom. I want you to move to standard thread, and for a 1/4 inch I can make it a 1/4 inch 20 or a 1/4 inch 28. So we'll do a 1/4 inch 20, whichever one you need. It's going to drill it to 1 inch, okay, you can see from this diagram, and then it's going to go thread depth 750 thousandths. Now it's in gray right here because it is the standard size. So I'll simply hit apply. See how it did add my tap in there, and it does have that right there. I will hit OK. Now I'm going to go into pocket. I'm going to double click on pocket, and right here I'm going to add a 50 thousandth chamfer. Now if you look at my screen, I'm going to click apply, And just like that, it popped in a little chamfer right here. And then I'll click OK. And the last thing I want to do, now if I look over here, I don't have any errors, okay? But I'm going to go into stock, and I'm going to go to properties, and I'm going to go to material, and I'm going to come down to steel. So I click on steel and I hit OK, and then I hit OK again. Now if you'll notice, I have some issues going on right here. And now if I click on details, right here, it says that it does not have a feed and speed table for these materials. Now it will still create a toolpath, but it can't do very much. So at that point in time, you would have to go into the material, and we won't go too far into this, but I will go into properties, go into material, and I can go into the feeds and speeds table. Now this is where I can start creating a lot of stuff, but I don't want to do that right now. So I'm going to hit cancel. I'm going to change this back to aluminum. I don't want to overwhelm you. I'll hit OK. I'll go isometric. I slowed it down. Now, one thing that's cool is if I hit single block, it stops right there. If I want it to run just to the next tool change, I can hit play. And I can keep clicking right here. So it center drilled it. It drilled it. Notice that it did a chamfer with my spot drill. And now I'm tapping it. And then again, I'm going to do the roughing out the pocket, and I'm going to finish with the same tool. So there's not a different tool change, but now I have my chamfer. And just like that, I've got the majority of this done, but I missed something. So whenever I run this part, this might be a giant solid edge right here, or something that's not very square to the top of the machine. I want to create a facing. So I hit reset, I hit top. This is really easy. I click on setup, features. Hey look, there's a face button. I'm going to hit next and finish. I hit OK, isometric mode, and then I hit play, and it has established a facing mill that was in the tool library. It is center drilling, drilling, and tapping. It's going to rough and finish my pocket with the same tool, and then it's going to come back and it's going to do a chamfer. And just like that, I have got my first tutorial out of the way. Now over here, if I want to run on the machine, I've got all my information right here, and in my details, I have all the speeds and feeds along with the tools, but I can also click on tool list, and it shows me everything that's going on. So that's helpful if you're the operator. So this right here is what I need for completion. I will go File, Save As, and then I'll just save it. I'll save it in my downloads. Do I have a downloads area right here? Let's go there. Let's go downloads. And notice, like I said, I'd done this simulation already. Where is it at? There it is. And I'm going to save it as the same name, but I'm going to save it as _2. Now notice it's a .fm file. Now this is how I want to save it. It's like writing a long essay, and then you print out your essay, but you don't save the essay, and then you got to go back and revise it. You can't do it. You have to retype out that entire essay. So if you don't want to listen to me for another 20 minutes, go ahead and save this, and then hit yes. And just like that, you've got all your stuff ready to go, and that's how you do this first tutorial. Again, my name is Aaron Runt. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more tutorials.